Okay, so right now we're going to go over 4.7, which is called Peace Out, right? And it says the learning focus. So what you'll be able to do today is write and graph piecewise functions efficiently and accurately. You already know how to do that. Write and graph absolute function values, absolute value functions in piecewise and absolute value form. You already know how to do that. Find inverses and graph inverse functions efficiently and accurately. You already know how to do that. And how do piecewise functions, absolute value function, and inverse functions connect? So we're going to practice a bunch of times, right? And then you will be able to see this. So this is just talking about, we're going to put it all together. So we're going to start with this. So you're going to start with this function here. And the first thing they want you to do is find the inverse of that function. Okay. Then these don't relate right now. So the value function in piecewise form of f of x. One sec. Okay. All right. So go ahead and do this very first one. So find f inverse of x. So this guy, find f inverse of x. I'm going to give you a couple seconds here. I believe they meant to write g of x right here. No, they didn't. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'll be right. I'll let you guys work on that while I figure something out. So all you were supposed to do is find the inverse of this, which if you did that using the method that we just kind of reviewed from that last section, you're supposed to make a list of how you saw those things. So I'm going to work on this side. Let me scoot over a little here. So I'm going to make a list of this. So let's pretend that you came up with the number 5. So you say y equals negative parentheses 5 plus 3 parentheses minus 1. One thing you could definitely do for this, if you would like, is to simplify this. Or you can just go straight forward and make those lists. Actually, I'm going to do that first. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify this here. So if you didn't simplify, not a big deal. Just know that that is always your option, to simplify first, and then you can start solving. So then I go negative x minus 3 minus 1. So I just distributed that negative. And then I'm going to simplify negative 3 minus 1, and it's minus 4. You're welcome. So then it's this. So here's my function. This is f of x. Some of you are like, Ms. Johnson, why are you calling it y? Because I already know what I'm going to do, right? To find the inverse of it, you guys always tell me, switch, Ms. Johnson, switch. So I'm going to switch x and y. So I'm going to get x is equal to negative y minus 4. So this is where you start listing out what's happening. Now, some of you can do this with y being a number, or you must switch this to y being a number. I'm going to pretend that this is a number and just think about that number in my head and say, okay, well, what would happen first to that number? So let's say that that number was the number 5. What's the first thing that you're going to do to that number 5? What's the first thing? Are you going to subtract 4 first? Or are you going to multiply by negative 1? Which one? What do you do first? Yeah, no, actually, sorry. No, you're going to use PEMDAS. So here you'd actually multiply by negative 1. So the very first thing is I'm going to say multiply by negative 1. So then once I do that, then I'm going to subtract by 4. Does that make sense? And so then I'm going to go in this reverse order. So this way, you are actually you're both using SADMEP on this. It's just here I'm making you slow down and just think about it. What should I do first? So the SADMEP way is going like this. Here, I'm gonna do SADMEP off to the side here. Ask you the same question. See if you like this way better, just as an experience for both. I'd say, hey, on the y side, do you see any subtraction or addition? Do you see subtraction or addition? And you're like, I see minus 4, Miss Johnson, which is the first thing I should take care of according to your list down here. So how do I undo subtract 4? How do I inverse subtract 4? I would add 4 to both sides. Very good. So I get x plus 4 equals to negative y. And then I would continue, right? I'd say, hey, do you see any multiplication or division? and you're like, yeah, I see a negative. So you can divide by a -1. And so then my answer would look like negative x minus 4, right? So there's my inverse. So I would write that here, negative x minus 4. Okay. So this is where I'm actually going to pause it really quick. And then I'm going to have you guys try some of these on your own so that when we come back together on Friday, we have more practice from you guys. Okay.